Successful minds. Welcome back to another episode of Successful Minds, where we interview people who are proactively chasing their own success so we can learn a thing or two from them and apply it in our own lives. I'm very excited to have another guest on this series. Hi, Cheski, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. We've been running around like headless chickens trying to make this interview work, but we're here and that's the main thing.
It's going to be even better.
It's going to be even better. Let's start off by, how do we know each other? We basically studied in the same school.
We did like most of our classes with each other, and I think because we both our surnames began with K, we sat next to each other or near each other at least in lots of lessons.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's talk about why you are on this podcast. Obviously, I think you're a role model for young people wanting to start their businesses. How's the business going? How is everything so far?
It's extremely busy to run every part of a business on your own. Yeah, for 3 months, earning back 50% of my investment.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of getting like a full-time mentor. I've kind of got everything set up in a way, so I've like done the hard part.
So you're getting some gains from it. Let's talk about your business actually, because we're sitting here talking about the success and everything. Can you tell us a little bit about your business, please?
Sure. So my business is called H2O Squared, and we sell carbon neutral square water bottles that are designed to fit into a pocket or a bag to keep you hydrated on the go.
I have to be honest with you, like when I saw your product on my timeline, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, that's very nice. And also the concept, because it's all like sustainable. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I have done a carbon footprint of all of the materials, the transport, the afterlife, my operations, to come up with a number of what the carbon footprint is per bottle, which then is offset with tree planting in schools in the southeast.
It might be worth saying that on your product as well, the label, there were seeds, so you could replant. That was really cool.
Yeah, so all our tags are made of seeded paper, so you can then plant them and they turn into wildflowers, again taking more carbon out of the atmosphere.
We're going to touch a little bit more into your business, more details. Let's just start off with a very icebreaker question. What is success for you?
So you asked me this before and I think I struggled, but I think for me success is when you found your purpose, so you know why you're doing it and what you're doing, and it feels very natural to you. And it's not about having more money, it's not about showing how much you have, it's more about actually how you feel inside.
I think that's a very important point that you made. It's about what's inside. A lot of us, especially the youth, aren't they, influenced a lot by outside materialistic things, because that's what they're sold. I mean, you should know you do marketing, so
yeah. No, I do think that life has changed, and because of likes of Instagram, people are presenting a life that potentially isn't true. Yeah, and that isn't success. Success is actually being like internally happy inside. And that's not going to happen via buying or presenting yourself in a certain
Gucci
way.
or whatever you want to call it.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I think that's the real struggle. I think it's trying to find your authentic success, your version of it. Why did you decide to do it during lockdown? Like, were you aware that the lockdown was happening? Why did you decide to do it then? Have you been watching the news?
Of course I knew that lockdown was happening. It was just I'm having a career break. I was meant to be traveling, obviously couldn't be traveling, so I was like, what else can I do? And if anything, I can learn from it.
What inspired you, or who inspired you?
I personally have grown up with migraines, so it's something which I've always been like, oh, I really want to have a bottle that I can take with me, because I just struggled to always fit like the round bottles in my bags, and I was just like, no, I don't want those, I want something different. Like my family have inspired me a lot to like push for your dreams, and I feel like that's so important, like make someone believe that they can do it.
Exactly. Your parents had a massive influence on you in terms of saving. Can you tell us about that? That's a funny story.
My mum, she had some like interesting rules growing up. One, like we lived in the dark, like you're not allowed to turn the light off. 2, you can only use the oven if 3 people are cooking in it, and 3, we weren't allowed to have the heating on. We were always told that we need to wear more jumpers.
I just imagine you all sitting around there like, oh, oven time,
Genuinely, that is what would happen. Yeah, I feel like we were always very conscious. Like, we would always recycle, we would always use up our leftovers, and so I think that's something which has like kind of I feel very strongly about now,
Yeah,
that that's how we should live our lives more
of
sustainably. It
course.
makes sense.
And is it fair to say that it was also the lockdown as well that inspired you?
No, I definitely think so, because it was like a time when nothing was going on. I was like, why would I not do it now?
And it's also worth mentioning, you know, when I was asking you about in terms of support, how did you get support? You were like, it's all it's all me.
Yeah. Well, I think as a business owner, you've got to be really clear, like, you cannot rely on anyone. Like, no, I'm also very picky, and I feel like I have to do things my way because I want them to be the best, because
Of
it's such a
course.
new business. You're the one that's going to be benefiting from it. So you can't expect other people to help you with it.
But what you're saying is you need to take lead on your vision, on whatever it is. You need to take control of that. Don't depend on other people to come and feed it to you.
No,
Like, no, definitely not.
no,
Fair enough.
I really think you've got to be so many people, you rely on other people all the time, and you just can't. Like, I think you get to a point where you're like, hang on,
Yeah,
someone else is not going to make my dreams come true for
course.
me.
Yeah.
I need to go out and get my dreams and make them come true.
The beginning phase of your business, did you face any struggles or challenges?
I think self-doubt 100%. Like, is this really going to work? Is anyone going to buy them? What's the point of me doing this? It's taking all my time. Like,
Yeah,
that definitely plays on your mind. And also, I think looking at other people's success, and you're like, oh my god, they're doing so well, why am I not doing as well as them? How are they getting more followers than me? Why are they getting more likes than me? Why are they selling more than me? And it's like, that for me is really bad. Like, I compare myself to other people, so having someone to support me has really helped. You know, when you start looking, there's loads of free things and people that are willing to help, and you need to find the right ones.
I understand you, because from my point of view, if I apply the same, you're doing a business, but I'm trying to also make videos, and it's like you do that yourself. You see other content out there, so it's like you said, coming back to your why, right?
I think having also like the enthusiasm to get up every day and do it again, it all needs to come from within. The success part of it, like, you need to have a purpose. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to give you that drive to continue.
Have you ever lost your motivation? Have you ever woken up one day and be like, oh, freaking, I need to.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
So what do you do when you wake up and you've lost motivation?
I would be like, actually, do you know what? That's my body telling me that I need to stop and let my mind breathe for a second. If I try and do work right now, it's not going to be good.
Sure.
So I'll be like, in fact, I go to my family and I just be like, help me, I need help.
Where's the oven?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you listen to yourself. Like, if you need a break, you're going to give it to yourself.
Exactly. Like, you need to.
Yeah. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's from school or from where, to work like robots. You know, at the end of the day, we're not robots.
Like, why do we feel like that we are failing? We don't do something.
It's like we was talking about before, a lot of things happening around us, and it always feels like a challenge. Life's a race. But I believe we have to listen to our bodies. We have to listen to ourselves. That's where the true success comes from.
I totally agree. If you think about the most successful people in the world, do you think they work 24/7 and go crazy? Plan. Like, that is the biggest learning that I have, is like, no, I'm going to plan to have a break. Like, I'm going to plan to schedule work in at this day. That is the only way to continue to have the enthusiasm and drive to continue.
Exactly, 100%. And it's about working smart. What's 24 hours of work gonna do when you can do like 4 hours of it very efficiently?
That's so true.
That's a process, isn't it? Figuring out what works for you exactly. So giving yourself that time to do it.
And I also think a really good point is that you might think, oh, this is really important, I have to be doing this. But actually, if you sit down and think, okay, this is my end goal. What am I actually doing to make sure I get to that end goal? Because that thing that you think is really important might not actually get you to that end goal. So actually having those like key like objectives and planning those out to get you to that point.
I'd just like to add one point, because it's a really good conversation, and ideas bursting out. It's funny how when you're talking about it, I relate to a lot of it, and I'm not even in a business. So sometimes life puts you in a position where it's like you wanted that, but now we're giving you this. You kind of have to be open to be able to adapt. That goes on to my next question. What personal skills do you think a person needs to start a new business? Let's say three skills. So what would be the first one?
Being able to learn on your own. The second one, interpersonal skills. So you need to be able to connect with other people and be open to like collaborating,
Okay.
working together with other people as well.
The opposite of like isolating yourself and just focusing on the business, like being able to branch out.
Exactly. And then the third one, I think you need to have like a basic understanding of like a business plan.
Sure. Yeah.
I do like it is actually really important. Like that should be the first thing to understand is actually, is this a business plan? Like what are you going to do? The second one is learn, like teach yourself every day. And the third one is go for it. You need to just be like, try, because you've got one life. Like you might as well just see how it goes.
Wise word. I'm going to cry after this finishes. On the subject of personal skills, were there any skills that you found yourself you didn't have, and how did you do it?
So firstly, I really hate being on social media. I didn't really know anything about social media marketing. I just literally just found podcasts for Pinterest. I actually found a really good podcast. I got a regular email with like weekly updates to help me on those. So then I know like when to schedule, how many posts to schedule, what information you need to put in the description.
So you researched all of this?
Yeah, exactly. And then I basically, for all of them, went on and started a plan as well, which I hadn't done before, like a content plan. Cool. So in my Excel spreadsheet, it has like a month. So say we're in November now, it will say when I need to upload it to LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram and Facebook, and Instagram stories, and I have it all written out.
But in terms of personal skills, you were more or less set.
I'm not saying I was set, but you know.
Perfect.
I guess that's something I've had to learn, is like dealing with rejection, which is
something I think we don't tend to embrace exactly, do we? We don't really embrace it. So when you become an entrepreneur, it's very important that you're ready for that.
Definitely.
Just take it in. Let's talk about these days. Have there been any other struggles, or are they the same struggles?
Every day is still a struggle. So like what is the right direction to take the business in? What do I need to focus on? I think I change my mind very frequently, like what's the right thing to do, and that's a continuous struggle. I think keeping up as well with everything that's going on.
So from your experience, and also you've done marketing as well, so you have extensive knowledge outside, what final 3 advices would you give to the people watching home who are like, you know what, this person, Cheski, she inspired me, she's young, she's hungry. So what 3 advices would you give to them?
First of all, if you want to start a business, is this the right business to go into? Like, why are you going into it? Are your reasonings correct? Just plan exactly what you're doing and do some market research. Like, is this actually a growing sector or not? Number 2, teach yourself or make yourself skilled in certain areas that is required for that business. And like I said, there's so many free resources out there. Like, it should be very simple, like YouTube, etc. And then the third thing I would say is just like go for it. Like, honestly, you should just do it whilst you have that enthusiasm and you want to do it, and make sure that you weigh out the risks. You might lose a bit of money, you might lose a bit of time, but at the end of the day, you've tried it, you learn from it. Like I said at the beginning, it was just like, okay, well, let's see what I'm going to learn from it. That's the best thing that you can get out of it.
Can I just add another point, because you're saying some really valuable stuff? I'd just like to share one point. I think if we go for the end result, we'll always set ourselves up for failure and stress. But whereas if we go for it like this is a process, and I'm not loving it, but I'm gonna be somewhere, like I'm gonna do something with it. It helps out a lot. And the more you look after yourself, the better chances you have. That's my opinion.
Ali, like let's end it on that. That was bloody
I saw this somewhere. I think it was Jay-Z. He said, "I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. You're the business.
Yeah.
You are the business. You are the value comes from you." And I think these days, where I wish I was posting more on YouTube, to be honest, but I've started looking at more in a broader way. So you got to see yourself as a business. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You know, you came on and I don't know what else to say, to be honest. And I know that there will be someone who's going to be watching who's going to be like, you know, that's real stuff. Bye. I don't know how to end the interview, so I'm just going to say, you guys watching at home, thank you so much for sticking with us. Hopefully you got something valuable, insightful, and real. Okay, and that's the whole aim of these episodes. Continue learning.